Words from Big Brother Dlo, episode 1. Now, I'm 21. For those who know me, I'm only 21, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I have, ultimate life experience and I know everything in the fucking world. But what I can tell you is that I've failed more times than the average person. And when you failed a lot, that means that you're able to, if you do it correctly, you're able to look back at what you did wrong in the past and then reflect on it and do better next time. And me, if you know me, I have failed again and 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 again. I've had times where I wanted to quit. I've had times where I just wanted to say, fuck this, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't see an end goal in it. I don't, especially when my best friend died. For people that know me, that was probably the most depressed time of my fucking life. And shit, it is going to be. When death comes around, especially when it's that first time seeing somebody die that was extremely close to you. I mean, that was the most depressed I've ever been in my life. But I knew there was only one way to go, and that's to keep moving forward, keep going up, right? And so, with this episode, I kind of just want to talk about how this is what life is meant to be. Life is supposed to be experienced. As much as everybody talks about, escaping the matrix, building a business, getting rid of that 9 to 5 or, chasing the high position in a corporate job all of their fucking life, what people cease to remember is the fact that you're here to simply exist. You're here to experience, right? Everybody wants to get all the money, climb that corporate job, escape the 9 to 5, escape the matrix, do this, do that, do this, but nobody talks about experience. We're here for an experience. No matter how much money you get, or how big of a business you build, or how high in the corporate world that you get, at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, all you got is the experiences that you had. And so, some people, what they don't realize is, even though you may be building a business, even though you may be in a business area and your business is doing successful, you're touching 6 figures, millions of dollars, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, right? If you're so obsessed in that business to the point where that is all you're doing, your whole mind is business. Your whole mind is, if it's not making me money, I'm not gonna fucking do it. And that's one thing I see a lot of people in. A lot of people are in the mindset, which there's nothing wrong, to a certain extent, going after the bag. Go after the bag, because in order to get to places like this, you have to have fucking money, right? At the end of the day. But here's the thing, you can't make funds without having fun. Let me break that down for you. You cannot make funds without having fun. You gotta lock in, right? You gotta lock in and do what you gotta do. But you also gotta find things fun to do in this life, because at the end of the day, you only get one fucking life. And when you really realize that you only get one life, that's when reality changes. When you really sit down with yourself and you say to yourself, you are going to die one day. And when you actually accept that truth, you start to look at the world a little bit differently. That 9 to 5 job that you're stressing your ass about, you don't want to be late, or you want to piss off your manager, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, or you're just stressing your fucking life force away on this job, or stressing your life force away on that business. You always got to remember to take yourself back to your roots. When you came on this earth, you had nothing. When you leave this earth, you leave with fucking nothing. You leave with no fancy cars, no fancy mansions. You leave with no money. Everything that you built, when you die, is gone. It's passed down. You no longer have it. So when you have that mindset, the only thing that you do really have is memories and experiences of your life. You know what I'm saying? And so to go back to the topic, one thing that people just simply forget is that, man, sometimes you just gotta calm it down. You have to remember to keep on experiencing life. Take a 2-week vacation. Buy maybe that expensive car that you might want. Some people especially what I've seen in my family, is they're so uptight about keeping the money. Keep the money to a certain extent. Make yourself so you're comfortable. Obviously, get money, get the bag. But once you get it, and you got a good foundation set up to make money, you need, no matter if that's through a 9 to 5, no matter if that's through a business, no matter however you make money, you have to remember to always take time to appreciate life at the same time. Some people get so caught up in that world of business, like so caught up in the world of business, that they get to the point that they just stop experiencing life. And the next thing they know, they're so obsessed with this business that they wake up, obsessed with money and obsessed with business, and they ignore everything else. They ignore their siblings growing up. They ignore their parents starting to get old. 10 years flies and goes down the drain, and they realize all they've done is worked. If you died tomorrow and all you fucking did was work, that's it. And you got a replay of your life. You got a recap of your life. You're dying. Your life is flashing before your eyes, and your whole life, it was just constantly work. Whether that was 9 to 5 or building your business, you never once for 1 second slowed down to appreciate the little things. And even as cliche as that might be, I'm really starting to understand what they mean by enjoy the little things, because not everything is forever. And when you realize not everything is forever, you start to move differently. People are not for forever. Relationships are not for forever. Money is not for forever. Once you come back down to earth and you start to realize that, you start to move differently. This trip, I randomly was just like, man, I want to go to Oregon. And of course I had shit to do. Of course I had more money to make. But look, it's an experience. When you spend, people talk about ROIs, right? Return on investment. And what most people associate that with is strictly with business. If I go and buy, let's say a pair of AirPods for X amount of money, my return on investment is going to be this. They take return on investment as only with money, but one thing that you also have to train is return on investment on your mental, on your experiences, on your body. Coming out. This is just what I personally believe is, peaceful. Coming out middle of nowhere, and experiencing the scenery, coming back to earth. This is really, when we were born here, this is all that was there. The universe, God, Allah, whatever you believe in as a higher power, this is what he put here, and this is what we needed as peaceful and healing, is out here in the wilderness. Just hearing the waterfalls, hearing the birds chirping. Things like this help your mental clarity, help you be in the present moment. And that's one thing that people have to learn to be in. And that's one thing I also am teaching myself to be in, is to be more in the present moment. Because that's the only time that exists. The past is the past. The way I look at the past, hey, it's not there no more. It's gone. The future isn't there anymore. So where are we at? In the present. The present is where you have to be at all times, because that's the only time that exists. When you're too far in the future, you start getting anxiety. When you're too far in the past, you start stressing about, regrets you might have. And that's one thing I have to learn about myself. If you dwell too much on the past, you're constantly gonna be regretting shit. But once you come to the realization that that's just life, you're gonna regret shit. The more you experience life, the more you go through life, there's gonna be things you're gonna regret. There's gonna be things that you love that you did, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, you have to learn to forgive yourself and not be so serious with it. This life was not meant to take extremely fucking seriously. You gotta learn to get loose a little bit. Learn to stop giving a fuck. You know what I mean? To a certain degree of things. Certain things take seriously. And then the one thing I teach myself is, when it comes to business, and it's your time to get serious, be serious with whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to start, whatever you're trying to conquer. Be serious. But when it's time to have fun, bitch, you better have fun. Go on vacation and don't worry about money. Don't worry about whatever whatever bills you might have, whatever, obligations that you might have made. When it's time to have fun, when it's time to relax, when it's time to enjoy the present moment where you are right now, that's when you have to let go. You have to let go of everything. When I'm out here right now, the last thing on my mind is making some money. The last thing on my mind is is what I regret from my past, or what I'm thinking about doing in the future. I'm thinking about right here, right now, where I'm at. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, but a lot of people don't really talk about that. And I definitely am one of the people that struggle with that. I struggle with staying in the present moment, which is why I'm doing things like this, being out here in the wilderness, trying to record a little video, figuring it all out, trying to stay in the present moment. And I want y'all to be with me as I go through these experiences. Because like I said, I'm only 21. Life is just now fucking beginning. So I got a lot to go and a lot to learn. And throughout that path that I'm going through, I know for a fact that I'm going to continue to make choices that I may one day regret. I'm going to continue to make choices that I'm one day going to look back on and be like, I can't believe I even did that. I am so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself that I even took that leap of faith. And that's another thing, is never be afraid to take that leap of faith. And that was one thing that I don't know how many people deal with that, but I know for me personally, from personal experiences, taking that leap of faith is fucking scary. Because you're taught your entire life since, let's say freshman year of high school, right? For me at least, this is how I'm giving my personal experience. You as well might have this personal experience, but I was always told that I should know what I'm gonna do, or I should know what college I'm gonna go to. I should know exactly what job I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, that always made me super duper nervous, because I feel like I'm supposed to know what the hell I'm supposed to do, or I'm supposed to know how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that. When in reality, it's like I don't even know myself yet. I look back at myself, and I look back at my 18-year-old self. My 18-year-old self goals was completely different than what my 21-year-old self goals are now, right? When I was 18, 17, 16, I cared so much about money. So much about money. I would not spend a fucking penny on anything unless it was a product that was gonna make me back money, right? I never took myself on trips. I never took myself on, little dates for myself. Spending money on massages, taking care of my body, taking care of my health, taking care of my family and friends. I just was solely strict on that money, right? Because that's what we were taught our whole lives, right? Work a job. The classic trap is what I call it. You're supposed to work a job until you're fucking 70 years old and retire and fucking die. And for me, I was always like that just sounds, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Especially when I got my first job and I realized they want me to do this job for 60 plus fucking years. They want me to do this working shit for 60 plus years, right? And I just realized it just wasn't for me, right? So I had to try and figure out some type of system on how I can make the money, and make the money as, what's the word I would use? As easy as possible. Because that's one thing, that's another thing that's taught, is that it's supposed to be hard to make money. You're supposed to put in 45, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week to make a couple $1,000s. And once I got to the mindset of that should not how it should be. I should not be giving up my time. Time never comes back. I want you to realize this. Time never comes back. Ever. Once it's gone, it's set in stone, it's there. You'll never get your time back. But one thing you will get back is money. And once I learned that I should be giving up my money for money and not my time, my precious, precious, precious time for money, That's when I started to realize, okay, there's a different way to make this shit. There's a different way that I'm supposed to be making this money. It should not be where I'm working 80 hours a fucking week, 60, however many hours, 40 hours, 35 hours, 20 hours, however much. There's no way I should be working that much in hard labor or whatever it might be to make, let's say that, the average is $4,000 a month. That just shouldn't be reality. And that's just what I started to tell myself. The reality should not be that I work 40 hours, 45 hours for $4,000 a month. $35,000 a year, $40,000 a year. And once I came to that reality, your mindset just kind of changes. And once you realize how precious time is extremely precious. I could die tomorrow. Literally. You could die tomorrow. And then once you come to that realization, and once you come to that truth with yourself, that you can literally die tomorrow, today, once you really come to that reality, you start living life a little bit differently. Because that's when you start to realize how precious your time here on earth is, right? Because it can be gone in any second. And some people that might make them scared, and it's okay to be scared. But on the opposite spectrum, you can take that as, like, for me, I take it as confidence. I'm scared of death. I'm pretty sure everybody's scared of death because we don't know what it is. And for me, I take it as that just means every day is a new day to have a new life. If I want to wake up one day and decide I'm going to leave the country, or I'm going to go to another state, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, I'm going to change. Change is always a good fucking thing. That's one thing people underestimate. Change is a good thing. You can change whenever the hell you want to change. Despite of what people think. Despite of how people see you. Despite if it's something, oh, you changed, this and the third. Fuck them. Do what you want to do in this life. Because at the end of the day, it's your fucking life. This is your life. And you can do whatever the fuck you want to do in your own life. You are the main character of your life. The same way I'm the main character of my life, I do whatever the fuck I want. The same way you are the main character of your life. You want to go start that business, go start that business. If you want to go climb that corporate job, go climb that corporate job. Whatever the hell you want to do, go for it. Go for it. Because why the fuck not? Always tell yourself, that's what you always got. Why not? If you want to be an inspirational person to other people, and you think that you're an inspirational person, and you think that you can inspire people, go do it. Go make a video. Go make a podcast. Why not? Literally, why not? Why not? If you want to be a millionaire, why not go for it? If you want to be a singer, why not go and be a singer? Why not try? That's one thing a lot of people don't do is they don't even try. They don't even try. They want to do something and then they just don't even try. They try for a month, 2 months, and they give up and they say that they can't do it. Well, you didn't really try. When you really want something extremely, extremely, extremely bad, there's nothing in the world that's going to stop you. Look where I'm at right now. I'm in Oregon. What the fuck? I'm in fucking Oregon right now. 3 years ago, I had $20 to my name. With no job. Wondering where the fuck I was going to be. And here I am now. In fucking Oregon. Like, if you really want it, if you want it bad enough, you will get it. I swear to God. I swear to God. If you want it as bad as you want to breathe, you will get whatever the hell your heart desires. And that's facts. That's just being human. If you truly want something bad enough, you will get it. And that's the beauty of it. And I just want anybody that's watching these videos and really watching it and really watching me as inspiration, I want you to realize that, look, me and you are no different. I was born on this earth. You were born on this earth. We both have experiences. We both have memories. We both have mom and dad. We both have siblings. We both have everything. We are the exact same people. The only thing that's different is the mindset. The mindset is the only thing that's different. And when you come to the terms that you can do whatever the hell you want to do in this life, that's when you win. When you place no limits on yourself. A lot of people place limits on themselves for whatever reason that they do. And that's just not the reality of it. Limits are not meant to be placed on yourself. And when somebody else tries to put a limit on you, it's only because of the fact that they couldn't do it themselves. So they think that you can't do it. But that's just not the reality of it. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as you believe in yourself enough. And that's what it comes down to. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have the most high standard, high quality version of yourself. The way that you look at yourself is the only thing that fucking matters. The way that you look at yourself is the only opinion that matters. No other opinions matter whatsoever. Somebody can call you this, somebody can call you that, somebody can call you this. Who gives a fuck? As long as whatever you think about yourself, that's the only opinion that will ever matter, is your own opinion. And once you get that through your head, and once you realize what you really want and what you want to do, not what other people are telling you to do, that's when you win. And that's going to conclude today's episode. Thank you.